what I do in that.
Back there tonight.
Yeah. I've been up there since Saturday. Give me that much fun stuff to take on. Put me through. Cook that much stuff. Take it home. Hey?
Then you stay up here.
Yeah. Take it all home, put it in the freezer.
What you go from your town? Oh, right.
Yeah.
It's been a bush you go out through, so she looks like that out the west.
I didn't know she got that sent to me.
From the other point.
Probably. Oh, hell, in trouble with one of them, don't worry. He don't talk to me,
Who?
he don't talk to me. He don't look at me. Feels like it. I think people under there.
No, anyone. Oh, do you?
You're getting old. People at least you think.
It's a little you know, in Cherry Clay?
Very close, yeah.
Yeah, that's why he's really wanted to
Is
do
it?
it.
Built 2 houses, quarter now.
They built it from the other side, you know.
Still on Tony's place. Bulldozed. Should be pouring the concrete line, maybe.
We're done, you were.
No,
Oh, I
Tony
No,
built.
on the other corner. Yeah. Still recently, still on Tony.
Yeah, what they put in there, 2 years.
2 years. Bulldozed house because it could be a little bit down the wall.
Yeah. Well, they're all the same, and now in that, in the corner, aren't they?
Yeah. Everything else down the road.
These two can sit here, or you can sit
Yeah, the church is all apart. Like me.
video in there, but you can sit there.
And
Photos. Putting white shoes on out in the car. Don't look at me, boot. Don't worry about it. I'm not claiming. I'm not claiming.
you've got a roll of pony out there, you could take a couple of bands each.
Yeah, I know.
Silence is everything. What point? Kick it away for you.
Yeah.
Who? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know it's Stanford. Man, she used to be with my John. Yeah, you've got John's book about it. About the face part. Yeah, she got a bit of bronze in the face. Yeah.
Sit anywhere we like, as long as we're not in front of the camera.
She might want to sit with us. Yeah.
Yeah. Feels all on you. You come on.
Just watch the camera. No, plenty.
If I were a carpenter and you were a lady, would you marry me anyway? Would you have my baby?
If you were a carpenter and I were a lady, I'd marry you anyway. I'd have your baby.
If a tinker was my trade, would I still find you?
I'd be carrying the pot you made, following behind you.
Save your love through loneliness, save your love through sorrow. I gave you my onlyness, give me your tomorrow. If I were a miller and a mill wheel grinding, would you miss your colored blouse and your soft shoes shining?
If you were a miller and a mill wheel grinding, I'd not miss my colored blouse and my soft shoes shining.
Save your love through loneliness, save your love through sorrow. I gave you my onlyness, give me your tomorrow. If I worked my hands in wood, would you still love me?
I'd answer you, yes I would.
And would you not be above me? If I were a carpenter and you were a lady,
I'd marry you anyway. I'd have your baby.
save your love through loneliness, save your love through sorrow. I gave you my onlyness, give me your tomorrow.
When I come to the end of my journey and I travel my last weary mile, just forget if you can all the hard times and remember only my smile. Forget unkind words that were spoken, remember some good I have done. Forget the times there was heartache and remember the times that were fun. Forget that I stumbled and blundered and sometimes I fell by the way. Remember I've fought some hard battles, but now it's the close of the day. So come in the shade of the evening when the sun paints the sky in the west. Stand for a few moments beside me and remember only my best. Good afternoon. My name is Julie Duffy and today, along with the staff from Stephen Baggs Funeral Directors, we will assist all of you, Lorraine's family and her friends, to navigate their way through this difficult and long day. It is with great sadness that the world that we knew 3 years ago is gone, and as such, some of the decisions that we make today do not possibly reflect the same decisions that we would have made in 2019. We are very mindful that some of Lorraine's grandchildren and friends are unable to be with us today due to various reasons. Welcome to all of you that join us online and remotely. We know that it's not the same as you being here, however your family is very grateful that you can join us via technology. At the conclusion of the service here, we will travel together to Lorraine's final resting place, taking her to the Bairnsdale cemetery to be reunited with her boy. It is now just over 17 years since they rested together. The family have arranged for light refreshments and a cup of tea to be served at the Bairnsdale Bowling Club. Please consider joining them and sharing your stories of your time with Lorraine. During this service, there will be an opportunity for any of you to come forward and share a story or your special time with Lorraine with the rest of us. Please consider doing so, as your participation will contribute to the fabric and the story of Lorraine's life. Lorraine was important to you each in very different and special ways, as a mum to Wendy, Susan and Scott, as a mother-in-law and a friend to Bill, John and Adele. Lorraine was a grandmother to 11 and a great-grandmother to 5. In her lifetime, Lorraine was a love sister to Peter, William, Elizabeth, always known as Betty, Kevin, Max, Dorothy, John and Kay. This is a time for you to express your sorrow at Lorraine's passing and for trying to comfort those that were closest to her. And as we do so, you will find the time for remembering and celebrating her life. Today, you are all fellow mourners, united in a common bond of love and grief for Lorraine. It is natural that you should feel sad today because in a practical sense, Lorraine is no longer part of your physical lives, but she will live on in your memories and always remain a member of your family. Lorraine May Newton was the second-born child to William Robert Newton and Dorothy May Nee Day, born on the 5th of February 1945 in Deniliquin. Lorraine joined an older Peter brother. Eventually another 7 children arrived into the Newton family: William, Betty, Kevin, Max, Dorothy, John and Kay. Lorraine's father William worked as a labourer and her mum was a stay-at-home mum looking after 9 children. What a busy life she would have had. Lorraine attended the Deniliquin State School and then the Ravenswood State School in Bendigo. The family moved to the Kerrang area and Lorraine would complete her secondary education at Kerrang High. She always wanted to be a nurse and would leave the family home to travel to Melbourne and work and complete her training as a registered nurse. It was around this time that Lorraine attended a dance and met a young man by the name of Kevin John Brown. They married on the 31st of August 1963 in Kerrang. They welcomed 2 daughters, their firstborn, Wendy, in 1964 in Kerrang, and then Susan in 1965, born at Warburton. The family moved to the Gippsland area, to the township of Churchill, where the girls commenced primary education. It was with sadness that this marriage dissolved in 1971. Lorraine then formed another relationship with a local man by the name of Ray Sommers. Ray worked in the main as an ambulance officer. They made a home for themselves in the Morwell area, and it was with delight that they welcomed their only child, a son, Scott, in 1972. The family moved to the Richmond area, Lorraine working at the Epworth and the girls attended the Yarra Park State School. A further move was made to the Mornington area, and this is where the family settled. The children were raised at 38 Illawarra Street in Mornington. Always a gardener, Lorraine loved being outside pottering in her garden. She was arty and tactile and enjoyed all things creative. She was a good knitter, had the patience to do tapestry and made greeting cards for her loved ones. Lorraine worked in both the Peninsula private hospitals and Mornington Bush nursing home. Her children grew and made their own ways into the world. A decision was made to retire to the Painesville Bairnsdale area. Lorraine worked for the local pathology laboratories as a nurse. It was with great sadness to Lorraine that Ray passed away in 2005. Lorraine would now find herself on her own. She moved from Victoria Street in Bairnsdale to Anderson Street. After a medical emergency, it was identified that Lorraine would need some assistance in her day-to-day living. And so after some discussion, Lorraine moved to Scott's home in Werribee. They formed a close association and a good mateship, in addition to him being a very good son, who was now her carer. Lorraine enjoyed living in Werribee, and her days had been filled with her loved puzzle books. As soon as one was completed, she bought another one. Lorraine Sommers passed away at the Werribee Mercy Hospital on the 5th of May 2022 after a short but debilitating illness. Scott's now going to come forward and share some of his memories with us. Thank you, Scott.
First of all, I'd just like to thank you all for being here. Family and friends, this would mean so much to Mum, particularly to see her family reuniting and bonding. It's hard to know where to start. A decade ago, I never thought I'd comprehend standing here in this state of unexplainable and intensely heartfelt sadness. I didn't even know I was capable of feeling like this. I'm still somewhat in shock as it all happened so quickly. I asked myself if I didn't notice something, or I didn't notice just how sick Mum was. But I know her decline was sudden and life-changing that I definitely didn't see coming. Here are some things I'd like to share with you about my mum. She did work hard and she did enjoy her job as a nurse. Her life was not easy growing up as an adult. It was an honour and a privilege that after 28 years of having no contact with my mum, that I was able to take care of her and nurse her and really bond with her like we'd never done before. I miss our bantering and our laughter. I know how bad my memory is, Mum, so you passed away on my birthday to make sure I'd never forget. Your daughters and I are here. We have come together in this time of grief, and I'm sure I speak on behalf of us all when I say we will have a much better relationship now through supporting each other through this tragedy. I hope I've done you proud, Mum. It's still hard not making you a coffee in the morning. You are my confidant, my advisor, and my soft place to fall at many, many times. You saved me many times in my times of trauma, and I will never forget or forgive you for this. I hope you're dancing with Dad, and I hope you're really happy and where you long to be. I love you, Mum, and you mean the world to me, Sue, Wendy, and the rest of the family.
She would be extremely proud of you, We know she was proud of you, but more so today. I'd now like to invite anybody else that would like to come forward and say a few words. You're a shy bunch, you lot. Nobody? Okay. The next piece of music that you will hear is the beautiful tones of Elton John singing Candle in the Wind. Some of you will remember that this song was sung at Lady Diana Spencer's funeral. It was an important piece of music to Lorraine. While the music is playing, please sit back and think about the special times that only you and she shared. Thank you, Stephen.
Goodbye, England's rose. May you ever grow in our hearts. You were the grace that placed itself where lives were torn apart. You called out to our country and you whispered to those in pain. Now you belong to heaven and the stars spell out your name. And it seems to me you lived your life like a candle in the wind, never fading with the sunset when the rain set in. And your footsteps will always fall here along England's greenest hills. Your candles burned out long before your legend never will. Loveliness we've lost, these empty days without your smile. This torch we'll always carry for our nation's golden child. And even though we try, the truth brings us to tears. All our words cannot express the joy you brought us through the years. And it seems to me you lived your life like a candle in the wind, never fading with the sunset when rain set in. And your footsteps will always fall here along England's greenest hills. Your candles burned out long before your legend ever will. Goodbye, England's rose. May you ever grow in our hearts. You were the grace that placed yourself where lives were torn apart. Goodbye, England's rose, from a country lost without your soul, who missed the wings of your compassion more than you'll ever know. And it seems to me you lived your life like a candle in the wind, never fading with the sunset when the rain set in. And your footsteps will always fall here along England's greenest hills. Your candles burned out long before your legend never will.
Beautiful music and beautiful words. A wise man once said, "Today is a present," and as such I leave you with these words. There are 2 days in every week which we should not worry about, 2 days that should be kept free from fear and apprehension. One of these days is yesterday, with all of its mistakes and cares, its faults, its blunders and aches and pains. Yesterday has passed forever, beyond our control. All the money in the world can't bring it back. We cannot undo a single act we performed. We cannot erase a single word we said. Yesterday is gone. The other day we shouldn't worry about is tomorrow, with its possible adversities, its burdens and its large promises and poor performance. Tomorrow is beyond our immediate control. Tomorrow's sun will rise, either in splendour or behind a mask of cloud, but it will rise. Until it does, we have no stake in tomorrow, for it's yet unborn. This leaves only one day, and that's today. Seize the moment. Any man can fight the battles of just one day. It's only when you and I add the burdens of those 2 awful eternities, yesterday and tomorrow, that we break down. It's not the experience of today that makes people sad. It is the remorse and the bitterness of something that happened yesterday and the dread of what tomorrow may bring. Embrace today. Could I ask the congregation to please stand? We now take Lorraine to be reunited with her Ray. Thank you.